Leeds United rescue a point away from home against Preston North End. The game finishes Preston 1, Leeds United 1. No jubilation from me for a last-minute equaliser at Preston. Absolutely none. That performance today was just another away day, just another typical away day from Leeds United, and it's not good enough. It's not good enough. A point away from home against this Preston team is nowhere near good enough, people. But before we get into it, like the video, subscribe, and of course, drop your thoughts and comments below. Thank you to Declan O'Brien for a super thanks on the last video, and thank you to Parent House for the continued support. Parent House is also a member of the channel. If you want to become a member of the channel, the link is in the description. That was just so poor. So poor. Like 1 point away from home. Okay, that's going to probably happen, but the performance was just so bad all over the place today. Been bailed out. It's currently going down as a Watmore own goal by Preston. Don't know if Joseph did get the last touch to it. Either way, a point away from against Preston isn't good enough for me. And this is the kind of thing I'm talking about right here. This was Preston's results before they played us. One of the favorites to finish in the top two. One of the favorites finish in the top two, and we go there and put in a performance like that. Bristol City go there and win. Sunderland get a 0-0 draw. Portsmouth beat Preston. Derby go there and get a point. Stoke draw. West Brom draw. Sheffield Wednesday draw. Preston, they beat Cardiff just recently, and they managed to get a point against us today. It's not good enough, people. Now, there will be people that will say, well, a point is better than nothing. Of course it is. But you're talking about a team with the talent that we have performing like that yet again away from home at the early kickoff. This is a pattern. It's not a coincidence, people. It's a pattern. And Danny Farke can say that we prepare the same way at home as we do away. Please tell me where you saw any performance today what it mirrored what we do at Ellen Road, where we're just dominant, smothering teams. It was nowhere near that today. Nowhere near. Sean here saying we got lucky. We did. We get lucky today. Okay, yeah, we'll go through some other things here. Ryan here, thank you for the super chat. Ryan Lee with another super chat here. This still isn't good enough. It's another pathetic away performance with a manager who's been given all the resources. Yeah, Annabelle, this was it for me as well. So many poor performances. It's really tough to pick out anyone. And listen, somebody earlier, because of Dan James providing the assist now, saying James was good all day. Well, that's not true. Also, James was decent, but I think Kesler Hayden did well against him today. Kesler Hayden was following Dan James like a bad smell, and it was working. It was working for a large portion. It kind of got away from him near the end, which is what you expect when you have players of superior quality compared to theirs. I know he's on loan from Villa, but James then hit the bar and then he provides the assist. He also did put one in for Patrick Bamford as well. Guys, we should have taken care of this football team. We did not test Freddie Woodman nearly enough. That's another average goalkeeper for this division. Yeah. I you know what I mean? Yeah, I saw that FEY. I knew this was going to come up, especially on this channel here. I hope Moyes gets back on the coach home. I think he was there for Preston, former Preston manager. But yeah, listen. Yeah, Mike here just saying, just like scripts are written for these 12:30 kickoffs. Yeah, it is a pattern, and Danny Farke will probably be asked about it again in the press conference this week, and he'll say, no, there's no difference. There is a clear difference, people. There's a clear difference. Not bothered about this stuff. Shrew Greenwood smiling. He can smile all he wants. It's, he's on loan at Preston. You know what I mean? He's not playing today. Ronaldo here. Arinda, sorry. Shout out to you, Arinda. Good to see you in the chat. Same stuff, different day. I'm Farke out. He's not the guy. No patterns of play. He relies on having better players than the opposition. A poor point. Yeah. And that's the difference, isn't it? There is such things as good points. But there is a poor point. This is 2 points dropped today, and there's no other way of masking that. There's no way any rational fan can tell me that this is a point gain and not 2 points dropped. That's insane talk away at this Preston team, and we almost fell into their trap today, people. There's a lot to cover, so I'm going to try and go through this here. We almost got dragged down to their championshipy way of playing. That striker that they've got, that was it, Osmanjic or whatever he is, he's allegedly a striker, but he plays more like a rugby union kind of player. We was almost getting involved in a little tit for tat with them, and that's not where you go. You don't drag yourself down to that level. You show your quality with the play that you have, with the skill that you have, with the agility that you have. You show it in that way. Don't get dragged down to the level, because they'll always win that kind of battle. We won't win that kind of battle against Preston. And thankfully, we went away from that in the second half, but we was almost with them. They should have had a player sent off, but again, it shouldn't take having 10 men for Preston for Leeds United to then get back in the game and go on and win it. We should be doing that 11 against 11, but that's 100% a second yellow, 100. And then you see afterwards, you see Daniel Farke, some of the coaching staff get booked probably for things they've said. You saw Dan James take a yellow card probably a minute after that for a foul that he committed. It's fine. I don't mind those yellow cards, but make it consistent. If that player hadn't been booked, I think the referee would have given him a yellow card for that one. Shouldn't be that, oh, he's had a yellow card, I'm going to put my card away. Saw that in a game recently, actually, and I can't remember who it was, but there was a player that had already been booked, and the referee was about to take out the card. Oh, it was Bergvall for Tottenham. It was Bergvall for Tottenham against Rangers. He had already been booked, and the referee realized he'd been booked, and he had his card ready in his hand, and he put it back in his pocket. Don't know what this is about with referees trying to keep it 11 versus 11. If people commit fouls that are worth yellows, give them the yellows. Yeah, Tasha here saying, KG, even with the player sent off, we still could not break 10 men down. Let me just hit this. There's a couple of super chats coming in. William, shout out to you, William, man. Straight garbage. Hey, tell him how you feel, William. Never been a Farke out guy, but if you can't manage your way, he needs to be gone. Mentality comes from the manager, and it's poor. Yeah, they're a mirror of their manager. Otherwise, there'd be no points of managers. There would be no point. But William, shout out to you. Ryan here saying here, Farke out for me. Same mistakes time and again. Hologram in goal again. Perot anonymous. These tactics kill us. Mr. P here, why can't we start fast away from home? Why can't we impose our game on opponents? I wish I knew that, Mr. P. That was poor from 1 to 11. Too many questions. Poor. So I think Mr. P is saying that was poor. But no, listen, shout out to you, man. Shout out to you. Yeah, he definitely bottled it. Absolutely. But that's what I'm saying. I've said my bit on the ref, but the referee doesn't dictate what you can control. And that's what I always try and say. In terms of the away performances in terms of the home, there's no point doing what we keep doing at home, which is dominate at home, and we absolutely do. We smother teams have a tough time coming to Ellen Road, but if you can't match just half of that away, it's going to be a struggle. Now listen, I expect Sheffield United to beat Plymouth today, but let's just say they didn't beat them. That doesn't matter. We should be trying to pull away from all of these other teams with the players that we have, and we're not doing it. So yeah, if Plymouth can do anything for us today, awesome. But I really don't expect it. Yeah, he talked about complacency. Adam saying he thought Dan James had a good game. Yeah, I understand what people are saying with Dan James today, but he wasn't like in the first half in particular as well. Their left back was following him like a bad smell. He was all over him. Yeah, he broke away in the second half, and he did improve. And he was our most dangerous player. Let's be real, which isn't hard today because they all put in stinkers. Also thought as well. I don't know if Verbal wasn't fit today, but you saw there was a couple of times, especially in that first half, I noticed that we was trying to build up. We would have moved it down to the left to put in a left foot cross, but it was Byram there on the left, which means that when he got the ball, he'd take a touch and pass it back or cut back inside. It just ruined the fluidity of having that left footer on the left-hand side for me today. And it was so evident. The midfield today, Joe Rothwell, for all the good things that he does, man, he needs to gain some composure when he's shooting, because he's had a couple of opportunities in games where he's had that ball just bounce to him, and it's a nice bounce. It's not an awkward bounce. It's nothing too out of the ordinary for a technical player, which he probably falls under. And he just got no composure. He puts it wide or he skies it, man. He's got to do a bit better. Listen, Indian Joe, he's one of these, and there's a few of you out there. You only ever turn up when we don't win. It's amazing how that works, man. Amazing how that works. Yeah, random poor set pieces today. Yeah, there was all poor today. It was just poor altogether. We're lucky to get a point today, and that's probably the word I'd use. In terms of their goal, ah, God. In terms of their goal today, there was many people at fault today. Let me just say there were many people at fault in terms of the goal. But guys, real rap coming now, real rap. Your defense shouldn't have to be perfect in every single game in order for your goalkeeper to make a save for you. Let me repeat that. Your defense should not have to be perfect in every single game for your goalkeeper to make a save for you. Okay? This defense overall, they were all at sea today. They were bad. Strout got spun, Roden letting the ball go, Bogle not getting back with his runner. It was all bad. Okay? But how many times has this defense, this midfield, suppressed shots from the opposition? How many times do they just clear things up? And it kind of goes, it doesn't go unsaid, but you don't notice that kind of stuff. It just happens, doesn't it? And then Meslier doesn't have to see that many shots. Guys, the shot that Potts took for his goal wasn't even in the corner. He actually shinned it back to Meslier. He shinned it back to Meslier, and Meslier still allowed that to go in. I'm sure his defense league will come out with all kinds of other excuses. Oh, the pitch was green. You know, we're playing away. Just what's the point? And I said this before in terms of Meslier. He's going to cost us more points this season than he is going to save. Extra goalkeeping sessions. Where were they for today? Where were they? Listen, if Ren come in January, Leeds United would be stupid. Let me say this again. They'd be stupid to reject a bid. Absolutely stupid to do it. Go get the money for Meslier. If you can get anywhere near 10 mil or even over, you've done a brilliant job, Leeds United. You've done excellent. Go and get Jason Steele from Brighton, who won't cost us much and will be a much more reliable goalkeeper. Much more reliable. It's not even close. Can play out. His distribution's much better. Shot stopping much better. Just a more reliable goalkeeper. Go and do that. Upgrade in goal. Because this is going to continue. It's not going to stop. It's not going to stop. And I don't like being right about this stuff, but I am. I am right about this stuff. It's not going to stop. It's going to happen in future games. As long as he's at this football club, he's going to cost us. He is not a reliable goalkeeper. Look at all the praise that you had to dish out in the previous game against Middlesbrough. Look at all the praise because he made a couple of saves. Oh, Meslier, oh, look what you have to do. We are kind of like a lot of these outfield players, especially our defenders. It's kind of like being back at school when you're in set 1. And somehow that kid that should be in set 3 or 4 sneaks into your set. That's what it's like. It shouldn't be like that. He's going to cost us big time. And he did so again today. Big time. And I want people to, because there'll be a lot of people that only watch Leeds United that come into these chats. There was a game just this week, where Sheffield United go to Millwall, Neil Harris's last game, and everything else like that. And Millwall were all over Sheffield United to begin with. Sheffield United were not at the races, not at all. They were slow. There was no patterns to their play. Millwall were on top. But you know what they did? You know what Cooper did in goal for Sheffield United? He just kept them in it. That's it. Nothing outrageous, no spectacular saves, nothing over the top, just routine saves just to keep your team in it. Then Sheffield United, with their quality, go up the other end, score, lock down the game. That's what you want from your goalkeeper. But we can't ask him to do that here. You can't ask him to do that, because everything turns into a talking point with this goalkeeper. Everything. He saves something. Oh, wow, what an incredible saves. He does what he does today. It's like, this again. He's just not it. Just not it. Yeah, Cricks. I'm going to go with Cricks, yeah? There should have been an easy save. Of course it should have. Of course it should have, man. It was routine. There's no excuse. And let me tell you, you think I'm being harsh or saying untruths? Even recent Leeds United hero, Stuart Dallas, said in the studio that Meslier should have done better. And that's his former teammate, recently gone, said that Meslier should have done better. Didn't sugarcoat it like other paid employees from the Leeds United end, where they say, maybe, but this and that. No, he said, no, he should be doing better. So there you go, from Stuart Dallas himself. Just poor, man. Just poor. Sets you behind the eight ball every time. Going back to some of these performances, yeah, I would have loved Verba to a start, but maybe his knee wasn't up to it. I just thought it was kind of disjointed from everybody today. Brendan Aronson was barely in the game. I thought Joel Peru was pretty poor as well. He had an opportunity in the second half where he just basically passed it back to Woodman. And I've said it before and I'll say it again. I do not, you know me, I don't want to see Bamford anyway, but please, for the love of God, don't put Bamford and Perot on together. Just don't. Don't leave them two as lone strikers. It looks like a Legends game when they're playing. Slow motion, juvenile settings. It shouldn't happen. You can't play Peru and Bamford together. There is not a lick of pace between the two players. But then what happens, people? What happens? We're losing the game. And by the way, in terms of the subs, and this is where we go on to Daniel Farke. We're losing the game, and rightly so. The Preston bench, they replaced that player Whiteman. They replaced him because he should have got a second yellow. He doesn't see the second half. That's how you should do it. Well done to Preston for that. They literally make 3 changes before we make our first, and we're losing and chasing this game. It's just the same thing every time. And I feel like this is like Groundhog Day. I feel like Bill Murray saying this. We're behind. What does Daniel Farke do? Throws on every single attacker that we have. We literally had Ramazani, Solomon, Peru, Joseph, Bamford, all on the pitch at the same time. That's not management, people. That's football manager. Anyone can do that. You and I could do that. It's just so frustrating. And the thing is as well, if this is Daniel Farke's tactic in the championship, and we've seen it over and over again, so you don't know any different. If we were to do that in the Premier League and throw on every attacker, we're going to lose every game 6 or 7-0. Honestly. Leeds here saying Peru got no service. He didn't get the service that he should have, Leeds, but he did have a couple of opportunities today. He did. And he just did nothing with them. Even a free kick, and I know people don't put too much into set pieces, but it was a poor free kick. It hit the player's shins, didn't even clear the wall, hit them in the chest, their head. It hit the shins, people. You got to do better than that. Yeah, Ash saying here, but it worked for him today, so you'll think he is great. Yeah, I mean, listen, he may do, and maybe other people do, but you can't fool me with this kind of tactic. By the way, again, Ampadu getting some minutes, which is great to see as he builds up to full fitness. But again, as we mentioned in the previous video, I do think he sees Schmidt more as an attacker, which is quite surprising because he literally said in the last game that he put in Ampadu for more defensive solidarity. Well, we was chasing a goal today, and he sees Schmidt more as a winger, and Schmidt couldn't get on. So yeah, I think that's going to go down as a transfer that Leeds United have fluffed on. Quite frankly, I think we've wasted 3.5 million there, and maybe it's on the player, maybe it's on the manager. Who knows? You divvy the blame out wherever you at. But that transfer just has not worked. He's not played. I don't know how many minutes he plays in total, people. I think he's played about half an hour or 45 minutes, and I'm probably being generous with that. It was, David. It was a 2-2-6 formation, man. Honestly. If you don't laugh, you know what I mean? It's just childlike management, man. Darren here saying Solomon did well in a few minutes. He did. I would agree with that in terms of Solomon and his impact. But that's what you're looking for from those kind of players. Ramazani, I don't feel like he did too well in his cameo. He looked like he was still trying to get up to speed a little. He lost the foot race to what's his name? Story. I thought actually give some credit to Preston centre backs. I thought that Lindsay and Story overall did pretty well today. But yeah, Solomon, yeah, it's one of these now. Does Solomon come in for the next game? You know, I mean, this is it. I mean, it's good problems to have, but boy, let's have a look. James here saying even Aronson would have scored Bamford's chance. Oh yeah, that flick, yeah, yeah, not because of the way the ball was in terms of it being behind, and we know Bamford is heavily left-footed. I don't put too much credence into that for him because I don't expect Bamford to score an easy tap in, let alone a flick. So that's my expectation of the player. I don't expect him to score that kind of goal. If he could have taken it where he could just blast it into the goal, that would have been much better, but that's probably the only movement he could get on it. But yeah, I don't expect Bamford to score that either. Game Bamford coming on before Joseph, that's a choice by the manager. And it's kind of weird, isn't it? Because we talk about these early away kickoffs, and we always lack a little bit of energy. if there's one person that probably gives you the energy up front, it's Joseph. And for him not to start, you go, okay. But then for him not to be the first striker sub that comes on, it's like, what are we doing here? What are we doing? Mark here saying Farke does the same every game. We are losing. Chuck a load of subs on and hope for the best. That's what it is, Mark. I mean, every manager does that. You know, if we're putting it in general terms, every manager hopes their substitutes make the impact. But we literally see it every time we're losing the game. It never changes. Everyone knows what's going to happen. Everybody knows. Let's have a look here. Yeah, Paul saying here, Gilavogi should get minutes away from home. Ian saying, yeah, KG, wrong starting lineup. Yeah, just a couple of positions for me. I pretty much had the same team, but I had Joseph up front. I had Verber at left back. That's a no-brainer for me in terms of team selection. But there just wasn't players performing today. But it's a pattern away from home, and it just is. What else are we saying here? What else have we got here? I'm sure there was something else to talk about in this game. Let's have a look if there's anything here. People saying Farke's talking now. I'll listen to that later on, and we'll come back tomorrow with another video, man, because yeah, I don't really want to hear it today. Byron here saying we need to strengthen in January, need a 10. The thing is, Byron, I think that we've got, even though it's not ideal, I do want a 10. I do. But if we can go and replace the goalkeeper, I feel like it would solve a lot of problems. Like his individual stats, once again, people, he's literally in the bottom half of the championship. Clean sheets is a team stat, okay? His individual statistics, he's in the bottom half of the league. And if you can get a 10 million bid for him and replace him, honestly, it would make me feel better. I don't know about the players. Maybe they would quietly say it, but you just know what's going to happen with him. And I've got no faith in him. No faith. Whenever someone's through on goal, I expect them to score. He's just another mediocre championship goalkeeper to me. He's not what Daniel Farke proclaims him to be. Lewis here saying need a goalkeeper and some fullbacks first. We're already loaded at fullback. It's just that they're not fit. But yeah, that's what it is for me, James. Meslier is the biggest weakness on the team. He is at this point in time. And if you're an opposition manager, you're saying to your players, just shoot, put the crosses to him, just shoot the ball because he's weak. I think one of the coaches recently said it against Annan of Man United. They said, just shoot at him because he's a disaster. And that's what it is for us. Ryan says, if we sell Meslier, I'll do the lottery. Natalie here saying, give Joseph a run of games. James is putting in decent crosses and Joseph will be there. Yeah, that's what I mean in terms of Peru starting today. I know Joseph didn't have a good game. I said so myself, but I would have given him another game because he does need a run of games. And looking at the team today that Preston put out there, it's all just big old bodies, slow plodding types. You could do with that pace on the shoulder because they basically ate Peru up today. They ate him up. They pretty much contained Bamford when he came on. It needed that someone off the shoulder, which Joseph shown when he came on late on and was influential within the goal. I know he probably didn't get the last touch, but he was key to why we got that last minute equalizer anyway. So it was a puzzling one for me why Peru came back in. You know what I mean? But yeah. Michael is saying, try Darlow, give him a run of matches. He's been playing well for the Welsh national team. Yeah. The thing is, Michael and everyone else, Meslier is built up to be something that he just isn't in 2024. He's not that anymore. He used to be. He was one of the top prospects. Conversations about the French national team. Hugo Lloris saying that he's going to be the next one up. Things have changed. He's not that guy. And that's why I'm saying, even with Darlow, but the thing is with Darlow, if he makes that mistake today, he will get rightly caned for it. Whereas Meslier will have a whole bunch of excuses made for him. There's a difference in the two. That's why it can't hurt putting in Darlow for a game. It can't. You know what I mean? But then maybe that will go against Farke with him always wanting to be right, and that will go against his belief kind of thing. But yeah, what else is there? Oh man, we got a point today, people, but it's just poor. It's just poor, man. Did not enjoy that one bit. Let me see what else there is. Was there any other talking point from the game? Any other thing here? I mean, here we're currently, top for what it's worth, but I think Sheffield United will kick off in around 10 minutes. will regain that against lowly Plymouth, and then they're at home at Bramall Lane. Not that it matters to Sheffield United, because their form away from home is just as good as it is at home. That's what they're doing. Yeah, his ego. Yeah, he's got a big ego, man. Honestly, big time. I don't think there's anything else, people. I don't think there's anything else. What's it Michael here saying? Pascal is weak when he gets dragged out wide. Need Verba back soon. Verba's here. He's playing. He was on the bench today, Michael. So whether he was fit enough to play 90 minutes, that's a whole other question. But again, I would have started him today. And if he can't finish the game, then you sub him off and bring on Byram or whoever. Forget Schmidt. He's just there for decoration right now. But yeah, I would have started Verba today. Yeah, Ryan, exactly that, man. We should have created a 6-point gap. Yeah. Listen, we'll leave it there. I don't think there's anything else. What's that Mike Farke interview? Happy with a point? Oh man, no. I'll wait and watch that myself. I'll wait and watch that myself, man. I need to hear it for myself and hear the context. There's no way that he's happy with that. What are we saying? Yeah, again. Okay, right. Yeah. I'm gonna do it, Ryan. I'm gonna take your advice. I'm gonna heed your advice. I'm gonna end it now. Listen, people, whether you agree or not with the points made in the video, like it if you watched it. Drop your thoughts, comments below, and I'll see you in the next video, people. Peace out. Enjoy the rest of your weekend.